Eric, it would appear retirement from hockey has been short-lived for you. Was this kind of the plan all along?
Yes, I think so. I mean, I've always, I have such a passion for the game and such a love for everything about hockey, and this opportunity, I'm super grateful for, and I've got a great relationship with Kevyn, and talked a number of times since I've been done playing, and you dive into everything post hockey playing wise, and it's been such a treat to just be with my family, be with my kids, be around, and but you still have a little itch and desire for, for the professional game. I've done it for so much of my life, and I feel like, I can help in different ways that I'm excited about. So this is something that, I thought maybe was a possibility, but obviously you need an opportunity and you need to, get connected somewhere. And I'm just fortunate that, Kevin's given me this chance to do what I can to help.
Did that itch somehow get heightened even more by how your career ended, which was two more trips to the Stanley Cup final and being that close? Like Montreal in 21, Florida in 23. I think some people are very aware of your whole career body of work, but that's quite a way to go out with, piling up the playoff games again.
Absolutely. I think it also gives you an appreciation for how hard it is. And, I knew that obviously as a young guy coming in, you're pretty wide eyed and you're just taking it all in and learning it as much as you can every moment. And I was fortunate to be on a phenomenal team with great leadership and great people and players, and we won a Stanley Cup. And then, and then I go really long throughout my career without having a sniff again, really, until the last 2 of the last 3 years playing, and and so close to getting it again, but not being able to. It for sure added that motivation and that desire to try and win it again because it's so special. And now, obviously, not being able to put the skates on and be out there, but have an opportunity in a different role, it's still important. I think that when you're done playing, how important every role is within an organization to have success. And it starts with ownership, and then it continues to filter down throughout your organization to have success and win a championship. So, I know that, and this is obviously a different role and a different opportunity, but it's still that nonetheless, and still important to success. So. It'll be fun. Still have a desire and an itch to win another Stanley Cup, and that's what I'm going to try and help do with Buffalo.
What do you think you took away most from the two? We could go through all the teams because you obviously had such great personal success with Minnesota late in your career, but specifically with the Panthers and with Montreal, what you saw within those organizations in those specific times, recognizing that the Montreal trip to the final was a COVID shortened season and a different configuration as far as the divisions and whatnot.
You know what? I now being a couple of years removed from those teams, and being on successful teams in the past, what I do know is it's a tough league. It is a very very fine line between winning and losing, and when things aren't maybe going the way you hope, because every team has down times during the year. It's when those down times happen, you're able to rebound, to get out of the rut real quick. And that may mean you're going to lose a couple more, but you're at least, you're digging yourself out of the rut a little bit. I think there's, ways throughout a season where there's nights where you just, as a team, you just know you need to get a W. And I think those
Mhm.
teams that I was on, Montreal and Florida, I mean, I wouldn't say were top of the division all year. We had a grind of a year where there were times in the year where there were games you just knew you had to get points. You had to get something out of the game to make sure you kept climbing the ladder in the standings. It's just a really, really fine line in the league. There's so many great teams, so many great players that when when you're riding the high, you got to try and ride it as long as you can. And when you're down in the depths of a couple game losing streak, you got to try and work as hard as you can to get out. And I think those teams that I was on really understood that. We had players that understood that. And, if you can get that out of the guys, you get yourself in a good spot. And obviously playoffs, you get the momentum going your way, and it can carry you a long ways. So those are things I think that you learn as a player, that are real important through the course of an 82 game season.
So what do you think in this role as special assistant to the GM, like to exactly what you were just talking about, like in what ways do you think you'll be leaned upon here and able to add to the conversation and in what areas, be it off ice, on ice, in the room, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I think that'll be up to Kevin in certain aspects as far as that goes. But I think just having someone like me with another voice or thought, reasoning. I mean, I've been fortunate to have been in the league for as long as I have been. I've got three brothers that are all in professional hockey. I've lived it my whole life, and I feel like I've been on probably a few more teams than other guys, but also you build so many great relationships that way, and I think you can lean on that in difficult moments and in good moments. And I think for me, it's just adding another voice, another thought, another idea that it may be moving forward, whether it be players or team wise. I'm just looking forward to kind of helping to contribute in any way I can, really. I want to win another Stanley Cup. Now that I'm not playing, I want to win it on the other side. And, I'm just looking forward to the opportunity and doing whatever I can to help in whatever area that is.
Do you think that there are areas of the game, though, that you are a little bit more interested in becoming like understanding of, whether that's, players and contracts and things like that, or whether it's player development or it's scouting or, whatever might be top of mind for you?
Yeah, I think in this role, I'm pretty lucky, I would say, and fortunate. I feel like I'm going to get an opportunity to kind of see, all aspects of how an organization runs, and learn as much as I can, ask questions when I want. And like I said, I've got a great relationship with Kevin. He's a great person and a great hockey guy that's been in this for a while, and just lucky that he's given me this chance to kind of see that other side. And I think being not that far removed from playing, I'm going to have perspective that's maybe different than other guys as far as um, players themselves, players that maybe they're looking at or thinking about making moves towards, or in that area. I'm going to have close, relatively close experience to have been out there either with or against some of these guys. So I think that's valuable. But just I think just seeing how it all works. You're a
Mhm.
player for so long, and you're like, you always say, I'm never going to be on the other side. You're just playing, just playing, just playing. You're worried about that, and then all of a sudden you get old, like everybody, and then you're like, oh, well, I still love the game and still want to be involved, and this is just a great opportunity for me to be able to do that. And I'm just excited to join the group and help whatever way I can.
But you were also here for a brief period of time too. So how does that play into this and a willingness to come back here?
Yeah, absolutely. It's unfortunate now looking back, this situation that it was with COVID and the no fans, and just the part of not being able to really invest in relationships with my teammates. We were also segregated. We were around in the rinks, and that was about it. But you never really got to connect with guys' families, and kind of all the things that you need to have when you're on a team. So that was difficult. Obviously, the year I was there, or the time I was there, it was within our own division. Played a lot of really tough teams. We just didn't have enough to withstand what you need to have success. But I could tell, the type of sports town Buffalo is. It's a phenomenal place to play hockey. I played in there enough as a road player. Conference finals in '06. That was absolutely amazing. I'll never forget being in the hotel and how loud the downtown was with people just getting ready for playoff games. It was awesome, even as a road player. So it's a great sports town, and I'm just excited to join alongside these guys and hopefully continue to build something that the people of Buffalo can be proud of.
At the end of the day, the journey hopefully ends in winning. That's the goal for everybody. Do you think you have learned a difference in how to win over the course of your time in hockey? You referenced, you were fortunate to get that taste early, but do you now see like a million different layers that it takes to get to winning?
Absolutely. You definitely learn a ton over, the longevity that I had playing, and you learn, when you try and um, bank the years that you had success and what made that success. And I think the number one thing that I could say right here would be the closeness that a team needs to have when you're and that goes hand in hand, right? If you're having success, usually the team's a little closer. When you're not, it's a little bit more difficult. But if you can start on that page first, I think it changes. So you need great people, you need great players, but you need to have that team dynamic where you're willing to do the extra. Push each other in practice. Yes, it can be competitive, and you're not always getting along in practice, but you're pushing each other to be better. And I think any team that I've ever had been on that's been successful is a really close knit team, but a team that was highly competitive with each other in the right ways. And that's what you want, and that's what you want to build in order to succeed and achieve what you want.
Do you have an itinerary yet? What's your first big assignment?
Nothing yet, but I think I'll be in town next week at the amateur meetings. I think they kind of give a lay of the land as far as getting ready, prepared for the amateur draft, which will be cool for me. I get to meet a lot of the guys that are obviously already within the organization and do some handshaking, but really just soak in. I'm going to soak in as much as I can, learn as much as I can, and I'm just excited to add as much value as I can. Obviously, next week will be a little different. I'm pretty green and fresh, but hey, just sitting there and learning and seeing how it all works is going to be really cool for me, and I'm excited about it.
Thank you for the time today. Welcome back to Buffalo.
Appreciate it, Brian. Sounds good.